Holy shit, we're back on Twitter. That's my bad. Internet went out, I guess. I don't know. Actually, when the internet went down, there's sirens from like every direction, so I don't know what the fuck happened. Something went down outside, but we're back. We didn't give us or hear our takes. I guess you could DM us on Twitter. You can see your Twitters below us, and you can buy our picks because they were good ones. I'm sure. I wasn't here for half the conversation, but I'm sure they were all winning picks. Let's talk about Jacksonville, Houston Texans. Repping the Texans here. I was wearing my Bortles Jaguars stuff earlier this week, so just an AFC South week for me. Uh, Billy O'Stooge, as the Pat McAfee show calls him, Billy O'Brien is out for Houston. This is a monkey off the back of the Houston Texans. They are favored currently at home by 5.5 over Jacksonville. This is such a lock for me. I don't see any way that the Jaguars win this game. Romeo Crennel is going to be giving his press conference saying that they are who we thought they were. Like, the Jaguars are not good. We know they suck. Like, this is such the easiest lock of the week for me. Are you guys in agreement, or am I crazy here?
No, I don't think you're crazy at all. I like the Texans in this game a lot. They're 0-4. They got to make something happen. They just fired their coach, who we saw was arguing with arguably the face of the franchise there in J.J. Watt multiple times. He did so right before he got canned. So this is only positives for Houston, even though, I mean, Romeo Crennel left a little bit to be desired last time he was head coach, at least for me. But he's got to be an upgrade from Bill O'Brien, right? And with this line moving toward Jacksonville, taking smart money on the Jags here, it opens 6.5 and it's down to 5.5. I don't understand that at all. To me, Jacksonville's overrated in the betting market ever since their Week 1 win. This isn't a good football team. There's issues on the offensive line. There's issues defensively. I don't have to get into all of it. I like Houston. There will be points. I think Jacksonville will score on this defense, even if a lot of it comes in the second half. Thinking maybe the Texans come out with a fire under their ass and play an incredible first half of both sides of the ball. So I'd be looking at the over on the total if I were to play that. But yeah, Jacksonville, Houston, I like the Texans, and then I would be looking at points aplenty in this one. Should be a good day for fantasy owners in this matchup.
Well, it's certainly not my lock of the week, but I also have really nothing positive to say about the Jaguars, and this is overall, and this is two of my least favorite teams to bet on most of the time. I'm always on the wrong side. They're always difficult to judge. So I don't love this game as much as you guys, but I definitely would be on the Texans if I'm picking one side. But what I think I might do with this game is, Zach, you talked about teasing the Rams down to a point earlier. I think I might take this game, tease that point or tease it down even past 0 if you want. Tease it whatever way you see fit. But I think this is another game that you can match up in your teaser. If you got a three-team teaser or a 4-team, obviously, depending on your bookie, you can do anywhere from 2 to 6. But sometimes if you do those higher points, those 7 or 12 points, you only get 3 teams or whatever. I think the Texans are a good choice to tease here this week.
That's a good point. And I did a 5-team teaser parlay locked in already, and I did tease this line down to 2.5. Obviously, I feel much more confident with that. But Jaguars can't rush the passer, averaging 1 sack per game. That's second worst in the NFL. Deshaun Watson usually can't get protected. Half of that's offensive and half of that's scheme. They're doing nothing to help him out. But if the Jaguars can't get after him, then they'll actually use their wide receivers this week, which is a pro. Also, if we can get J.J. Watt lined up at tight end, that would be fantastic too. Because I am all.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's had a touchdown, either offensively or defensively. But
I have, I think, an 8 play parlay for props in this game. There's so many good props. Maybe at the end I'll get to it, but plus 2,400 prop parlay that lock, absolute lock.
I like it.
Anything else to say about this game?
No.
Okay, let's go to the game of the week. Arizona Cardinals at the New York Jets. Henry's New York Jets. Give him all the credit for this team. Arizona is currently 7-point favorites. It sounds like this game's going to happen. I know there was a scare for COVID on the Jets, but I think the NFL pretty much just said, who cares? It doesn't really matter. Let's just play the game. I've been talking to Henry a lot about this line, about this game, about the Jets in general, more than I've ever thought I would. I love the Jets in this game, man. I love the Jets in this game. I love the Jets in general. But if we can get a backfield of Frank Gore, Le'Veon Bell, and Joe Flacco all at once, I don't even care about the result of the game. I think I'm just going to be happy to see it. Henry, do you have any further thoughts about betting on this game?
Well, the smart money is on my New York Jets. I'll say that. This game opened 8.5. It's down to 7. And I would be inclined to go with it here. I think you can argue how much of an upgrade it is. But Joe Flacco, to me, is an upgrade over Sam Darnold. Maybe that's a salty Jets fan in me. You guys can weigh in more on that if you'd like. But, yeah, Flacco's a statue. But he's won games in the NFL before. And, if they're just running quick, simple, dink and dunk offense here, Le'Veon Bell coming back, that's huge to put that into motion. Jamison Crowder could be in line for a big game here. And the coaching matchup. How much worse than Cliff Kingsbury is Adam Gase? I don't know that he is that much worse in my mind. Arizona's got injuries in the secondary. If New York is able to push the ball down the field, that could be exploited. I'm not sure exactly who's in and who's out. I would have to pull up the full injury report here. But I would be, if I'm swinging on the spread here in this one, I am swinging on the Jets. Burned me last week. I'm back on them again all year because, hey, it's my team. And who bets against their team? No one does that. Yeah, Jets. And then the total, 47.5, 48. I don't really have a strong lean. I think I would be looking under, though, almost in a way. As bad as the Jets defense has been, and, as banged up as Arizona's defense is, it just feels like it could kind of be an ugly football game to me. And if the Jets are hanging around and they're going to cover this spread, I think it needs to be ugly. So I kind of interested in the under, but nothing I would likely be playing.
So I'm going to be the contrarian here. After week 2, I tweeted out, and I believe I quote, the Arizona Cardinals are good. I know Zach doesn't think so, but they are. Since then, they have not looked great. However, they get a matchup this week where they have an opportunity to go out and not necessarily prove me right by beating the Jets, but prove that I'm not wrong yet. And to do that, they need to come out and win this game by 10 points minimum. Like, you are a better football team. The Jets have absolutely nothing going for them right now. They get Le'Veon Bell back, but who really cares? Like, at this point,
they get Joe Flacco under center.
Yeah,
that's going for him.
Joe Flacco is so fired up this week. Have you heard his quotes? He's ready for fucking blood of everybody.
It doesn't matter. You should be able to, if you are a good football team, you should be able to work through all that, go out there, take care of business. I mean, it's the Jets. They are horrible no matter who's under center. They're bad right now. So if you are a good team or even on borderline good team, you go out there and you don't just win this game. You cover the spread, and you cover the spread easily. So because of all that, I have to take the Cards. I'm going to be on them -7. I did not like 8.5 as much as I like 7. I still don't really love 7. I wish it was like 5 or 6. I'd be more comfortable with that because I feel like the Jets maybe can do something at the end of the game, or the Cardinals might, I don't know, mess up, have a bad red zone opportunity or miss some kicks. I don't know, because I'm not fully confident in this Arizona Cardinals team any longer. However, I think that they win this game. I think that they cover the spread, so I'm taking Arizona this week.
Let me ask you guys this. We already talked about Rams-Washington. This game's sitting at 7-2. How many public teasers are going to have Rams-Cardinals down to -1? And then doesn't it just feel like one of those teams is going to just win outright and totally ruin everyone's Sunday?
Probably. Yeah.
I don't know which one it's going to be, but
I do.
More likely, I would say it's probably the Jets. I mean, I don't think the Rams.
There we go.
I don't think the Rams, just because I don't think the Rams have 2 stinker weeks in a row. I think they're gonna look better on offense, and they're still gonna be able to like I said when we talked about that game, they're still gonna be able to create turnovers or hold the offense to minimum points. So if I'm saying one of these teams is going to lose or going to be upset, like, yeah, I'm leaning Cardinals. However, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Cardinals at minimum win this game. I'm not worried about that, but I have no interest in the money line in this game. It's all about the spread. So if they don't cover, they're kind of sliding down my list.
Well, get the slide open and ready. Cardinals, it looks like Kennard is out for linebacker. List Chris Banjo, the safety, is questionable right now. That makes me feel like he's probably in. I'm not for sure. Sam Darnold obviously out for the Jets. Becton is freaking out. Thank God. The offensive tackle they drafted, he run this, so that's an upgrade. Perriman, well, he's doubtful. He's going to be out. Perriman is also doubtful. It doesn't matter. Joe Flacco can make anyone look like an MVP. All about this game. All about it. For some reason,
I feel like
over too, though.
Sorry, I feel like we piled on Jake a little bit, so I'll just pull up this trend to know
That's fine.
kind of make it feel a little better. Arizona is 9-1 against the spread. Their last 10 games on the road when they have traveled 2,000 miles or more.
That's interesting.
Which you wouldn't think.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty impressive. Like that to me almost was sounding like one of those stats where you just keep adding qualifiers to it and keep adding qualifiers. But then you actually got to the end of the stat and I was like, oh no, that actually has some relevance.
There should be a prop about which Arizona player is going to get hurt at MetLife Stadium this week. I think that's more of the fun prop to play here. I'm going to go with Dan Arnold. What is he from? Milwaukee? He's going to go down. Okay, next game here. Now that I'm a sunshine of joy here. Philadelphia Eagles at the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is probably my favorite bet of the week. Steelers 7-point favorites at home. I saw a stat today. Steelers have 4 players in the top 5 for quarterback hits, I believe, or pressures in under 2 seconds. And oh, by the way, that's in 3 games, not 4. Eagles have a rugby player blocking for him. I don't think this is going to be pretty for Carson Wentz. Obviously, they need to have a tight end in there to chip that takes away a receiver out of a group of wide receivers that are already pretty terrible. Deshaun Jackson, Elshon Jeffrey both out. Starting corner, Vontae Maddox out. Rager obviously out. I don't know. Do either of you guys have anything positive to say about the Eagles in this matchup?
No.
Okay.
No, I think pretty simple. I think Big Ben is pissed at Corona. He's pissed at the NFL that he didn't get to play last week. He got a week, a really early bye, so I'm sure he's feeling great. So is the rest of the team. Deontay Johnson comes back. The Eagles are beat up. I think this is going to be a heyday for Steelers players, Steelers fans, and Steelers bettors. I'm big on the -7 for Pittsburgh this week.
I'm excited to watch this game just because it's the Battle of Pennsylvania. It only comes once every 4 years. And, there's storylines behind these two franchises. At one point, they were together as the Steagles, and I just love that fact. But as far as tomorrow goes, I don't know how much of a shot I'm really giving Philadelphia here. You asked Zach if there's anything positive to say about the Eagles. I mean, yeah, they're coming off a win, but it was basically handed to them by Nick Mullins and his turnovers. So I don't see them having that same success against Pittsburgh, a veteran-laden team. Eric Ebron is a sneaky play for me tomorrow in fantasy football. The Eagles are terrible fantasy points allowed to the tight end position. George Kittle pretty much went off. I think that's a good way to put it last week. I like Ebron, who's had an uptick in targets for fantasy. I would much rather lay the 7 here with Pittsburgh, and I don't know how much the Eagles are going to score, so I might even once again be looking at the under at that low 44.
Also, check out the team totals too. This game, the team totals definitely intrigue me. I don't know exactly what Philadelphia's is, but if it's anywhere near like 17 points or something like that, 17, 18, I would take the under. If it's any lower than that, I might start to, they might hit a few field goals and end up over if they can find the end zone once. But if it's anything, I'd say even 16, 17 or above, I'm taking the team total under for the Eagles.
And I did say earlier that I'd do a prop parlay, so this is the one I have for this game with plus 446 odds. It's not too crazy. It seems pretty easy to hit. I have Pittsburgh to win outright. I have James Conner scoring a touchdown, Zach Ertz to get at least 36 yards, Juju Smith-Schuster to get at least 47 yards, and I have at least 5 receptions, and then Eric Ebron to have at least 3 receptions. So nothing too wild there. Seems
And I just looked, I just pulled it up, and it actually is right about where I thought it would be. It's 17.5 points. So I do like the under there. I think that they could end up with 16 or 17, which means they'll probably end up with 18 with a little late field goal or something. But 17.5, I'll take the under there for Philadelphia team total.
completely agree. You guys talked about Raiders Chiefs already. Let's go to Dolphins at San Francisco. San Francisco I have right here as 8-point favorites. The over-under has risen with Jimmy Garoppolo news. He is now at 51.5 on BetMGM, 50.5 at FanDuel. Those are the best odds for it, at least. I've been messaging Henry about this game too. This feels like a Fitzmagic game to me, 100%. I've just seen it too many times. It's set up that way. The total's going over. I think overall it's going to hit the over just because of that. But aside from that, I'm probably not going to bet this game. I'm just holding out hope that we get a Fitzmagic game before Tua comes in and gets hurt. Jake, do you have any thoughts on this game here?
I actually want to know, Henry, what's the line movement been on this game? Because I thought I saw it in like the 7.5 range at some point, but now it's 8.5. Yeah. I liked it more in the 7.5 range. I still think 8.5 is a decently easy cover for the newly healthy San Francisco team, as long as it's not a total Fitzmagic game. I think Fitzpatrick can still play well and not cover the spread, because even when he plays well, he's still bound to throw at least one interception. I know the defense has been pretty good, but Nick Mullins looked really disappointed me big time. Did not look good last week, but the week before that, it did look good. Their offense looked good, and now they get Jimmy G back along with Ayuk, along with Deebo Samuel. Okay, even so,
test now.
Okay, well, even so, they've been playing without him the last few weeks. George Kittle is back and I believe fully healthy now. And even though the Miami defense has looked decent, I think San Francisco is going to be able to move the ball on them. I'm not afraid of this 8.5 point line at all. I think I'm going to lock it in and go live bullets on the Niners this week.
Yeah, I want to pull up Miami's injury report, or Zach, if you have it. I know there were some guys out in the secondary last week. But what if you need a second to find that? I can keep going here.
I got it over here. Looks like Shaq Lawson's out, and then tight end Durham Smith is out. That's it.
Okay, so secondary's healthy, so that'll help them a little bit. I have a tough time with this spread. Jake, you asked about line movement. It opened 8.5, and it's all over the place right now. Out in Vegas, you can get 7.5 at South Point and Circa. 7.5 at the Westgate, that just dropped, and then there are 8s and 8.5s everywhere else. So a little bit of everything here, and I don't know. I feel like San Fran, like you said, should cover, but to Zach's point, I also feel like this is 100% a Fitzmagic game. Myles Gaskin and the Dolphins running game, I don't see them getting much of anything going here. The Niners have been really good in the run defensive department. Fewest or second fewest, right up there in terms of fantasy points allowed to running backs. Gaskin's a bust play for me this week on that front. So it's going to be on the arm of Ryan Fitzpatrick to keep Miami in this. It feels like San Francisco should run away with it, but I don't have a strong enough lean here to play it. I guess that's my read, but I am leaning towards more points being scored in this one than expected. So if expected is the over/under line, I guess we'll roll with the over.
I actually do like, if you can get 7.5, I actually like that a lot, because we see Miami lose on those, or 6 points, 8 points, not necessarily an even touchdown a lot, because they like to go for the 2-point conversion a lot of the time. So if you attempt it, you miss one, boom, there, you're going to be able to cover 7.5. So I like 7.5 a lot more, just because of how aggressive Miami does get sometimes after they score a touchdown, or the fact that they might be trying to come back from behind. So in lieu of a extra point, they're going to try for a 2-point conversion. Then all you got to do is have them miss that 2-point, and you're sitting pretty. That's not something you want to totally bank on all the time, but we do see it a lot out of the Dolphins. And if you're giving me choices between 7.5 and 8.5 in this game, a 7.5 makes me much more comfortable.
Let's go to Indianapolis, Cleveland Browns. Depending on where you play it, you can get either team as 1-point underdogs right now. Over/under set at 47.5 or 48. For the Colts, Anthony Costanzo and Darius Leonard are both out, which is massive news. That's why we've seen the line move in such a way towards Cleveland. Greedy Williams still out for the Browns. Obviously, Nick Chubb is out for the Browns. I think this is a pretty easy game to play the under. I really like teasing this total up and playing the under. It's a later game. We have seen the under hit 11-3 in late games this season, so I'm assuming that's going to continue with this game here. Both teams want to run the football. I think both teams are going to defend the run very well. Do you have a lean on this one, Henry, at all?
I like that under call as well. I think what you said, obviously the running game is what both these teams are looking to do offensively, and both teams are very good in terms of defending the run. As far as a side, I would be looking at Cleveland here. Those injuries that you mentioned, Costanzo and Leonard, far more impactful to me than Greedy Williams. The Browns secondary is going to be bad either way, but what's Phillip Rivers going to do to the secondary? And he's down arguably the two most talented pass catchers in that offense, R.I.P. T.Y. Hilton. You got to show me something this week, man. But that's not a significant injury. And Nick Chubb, as good as he is, he's a running back, and I'm fully confident in Kareem Hunt and Dearness Johnson to step in there, and however they split up the carries in that backfield, they'll be able to shoulder the load for him while he's out here. So I would be looking Browns to win this game outright, given that it's hovering around a pick. If you can find a line where it's Colts favored short, just shop around to get the best odds you can there, and look for Cleveland on the money line.
Yeah, and Indianapolis has not, their offense has not gone out and impressed on a week-to-week basis, right? They're doing enough to be able to win games. They only scored 19 points against Chicago, which is a decent defense, but overall, their offense has not really wowed me, whereas Cleveland's at certain points really has wowed me. They've shown they can put up points, but also it'd be the most Cleveland thing ever to put up, such a performance last week and score so many points, and then come out and, score maybe two touchdowns if they're lucky, or a touchdown and a few field goals. Like, I could just see that coming out of Cleveland because they're Cleveland. However, with that said, I locked them in early this week. I locked them in at +2 and the money line. So I am fully Cleveland this week. I'm a full Cleveland supporter. And it's more of a bet on, it is a bet on the Browns being good, but it's also a bet against the Colts because they're just a team that is in the prove it to me category right now. I don't really know which way I feel about them. I don't really know if they're good, if they're actually really good, or if they're just okay yet. I am yet to have made up my mind on them, but I did like what the Browns did last week, and I think that they have a mojo that they just haven't had in years, and I think they finally found a capable head coach. So I'm going to roll with the Browns this week, getting points and getting plus money on the money line, obviously. So I've got 2 bets locked in on the Browns here.
And Henry, you said to shop around to see where you can get the Browns as underdogs. It's showing me DraftKings and Sugar House. I don't know if it's fully updated, but that's what it's showing me on Shopper right now. New York Giants at Dallas Cowboys. Jake was talking about a line he locked in early. I locked in the Giants +9 immediately. Like, this is such a no-brainer to me.
I locked in the opposite, so this is going to be good.
Have fun.
Here we go again, Uncle Mike.
Yeah, Joe Looney, Tyron Smith, both out for the Cowboys. Giants are going to be fine. I mean, this is going to be a close game. Cowboys should win outright, but I can't imagine that.
It's not. It's not going to be a close game.
Okay. Like, what are they going to do?
It's not. The Giants have scored 3 touchdowns all season, and one of them was because there was a turnover on like the 40-yard line, so they only had to go 40 yards. When Daniel Jones has to start on his own side of the field, he can do nothing. He does nothing. They've scored 3 touchdowns, and one of them was created by a turnover. They cannot score. The Cowboys can score. And the Cowboys, yeah, their defense has been bad, but they've been bad against
too.
The offense has been scoring 40-plus points a game. That's way more than you need to beat and cover the Giants.
Half time of possession, the middle of the road.
But all you need is points. The Giants can't score. The Giants are garbage. They're terrible. 3 touchdowns all season. The Cowboys have scored 3 touchdowns in a single quarter multiple times this year.
Yeah, they're fantastic against prevent defense. I won't argue with that. Mike McCarthy's the greatest at designing plays against prevent defense. It's probably going to be a closer game, so I don't expect the Giants to get a big lead, so the Cowboys get soft coverage. But I think it should be pretty close throughout the one. It'll probably be a 4-quarter victory for the Cowboys, but
I've got 8.5, by the way, which I mean, there's no way the Giants keep it within that number. There's just no way. They can't score.
Okay.
3 touchdowns in 4 weeks.
I've already bet the over on the Giants total, too. I have 0 doubt the Giants are going to score this week. Should be fun.
All right. Like I said, this is a fun one. We'll see.
Henry, what do you think?
I just want to wait before Henry goes. I just want to say I've had some strong opinions on the Cowboys so far this season. I know you guys are sick of it, but I think this is my most confident take. Like, everything else I'm half trolling, Dak for MVP, whatever, NFC Championship, whatever. I'm half trolling, but this week I really mean it. There is no way the Giants keep this thing close. The Cowboys need to get back on track, and they can actually score, which the Giants can't. It's not going to be a close game.
Oh, I don't think I need to have an opinion. Listening to you guys is just great. With that said, Tyron Smith, the Cowboys left tackle, he might miss the remainder of the year. He's undergoing neck surgery. That was announced a day ago. So looking at this matchup specifically, I've been saying it all year, and I'll say it again. This Giants defensive front is underrated. They bottled up the Rams running backs last week. Malcolm Brown out-touched Darrell Henderson. Neither of them really got anything going. And I think when you're looking at the Rams putting out a low points output in that game, why is that so? Well, they never really had a running game to complement Jared Goff passing. The passing game didn't really open up as a result of not having a running game, and you have a lower point output. And yeah, you can argue Los Angeles slept on the Giants and yada, yada. The running game is key for the Rams offense. The Giants bottled it up. Dallas, they got weapons galore, but if the Giants are able to win at the line of scrimmage, are those weapons going to have time to make their mark and really blow New York out of the water in this one, like Jake is thinking here? And I don't know that I see that happening. If we want to just follow smart money alone on this game, it opened at 11 out in Vegas. It's down to 8.5 across the board. I like the Giants in this one. The last 6 head-to-head matchups, Dallas has both won outright and covered the spread in all 6. So they're 6-0 straight up and ATS. That's a nice trend. Trends have to die. Giants covering the 8.5 in this one.
Every other trend we've talked about is, that's a good point. It's going to keep going that way. But no, this trend has to die. All right, Henry. All right.
I throw the trends out there for the enjoyment of the listeners and viewers only, and to further or contradict my points. When I give a point, I like to offer some sort of counter argument, and I just can't find a counter argument looking at the game, so I had to resort to a trend from past years.
That's fair. But I would also like to point out that the last time everybody was against me, it was 3-on-1, and it was the same Giants team who you guys said, no, the 49ers, they're going to suck this week. The Giants have it in them. And the 49ers beat them by 29. 29 points. The 49ers that week were a way worse football team than the Dallas Cowboys are this week. So I don't want to hear it about the Giants.
I was only on the 49ers that game. You don't have to argue with me. Speaking of trends.
No, I know, but everybody else, all three other people were on the Giants. I said the 49ers, and now we're dealing with the same Giants team, and you two are against me. So I love this spot. Give me Dallas.
Okay. There's no one who can stop Evan Engram in this game. I think he goes for over 100 yards if you want to play props. Let's go.
That's fine. Dak's going to go for 500.
No, he's not.
Dalton Schultz is the tight end 3 in fantasy on the year, by the way. I just want to throw that out there.
I've been talking
if he's somehow not rostered,
it's insane. Dallas has 3 guys.
It's like 50% of ESPN leagues.
He has no one competing with him underneath in routes because he has 3 wide receivers running straight lines, and he just comes underneath and soaks up targets. It makes no sense why he would be out there. It's stupid.
I didn't understand why Blake Jarwin.
To be fair,
I didn't understand why Blake Jarwin was a sleeper coming into the year, and I'm more referencing this for the season than this game necessarily. But Dalton Schultz is literally Blake Jarwin now. He was at a discount price in terms of draft capital.
Jarwin's another guy who just stretches the defense. He wouldn't have had no chance in this offense. Dallas picked up every vertical weapon they could, assuming Dak Prescott's going to launch it 40 yards every play. That's what they designed their offense around. But now,
Goat Prescott.
What about Prescott? Ask Michael Gallup.
I said Goat Prescott.
Ask Michael Gallup how good Dak Prescott is. Wonder why he doesn't get looks is because he doesn't know how to work through progression. Let's get off fucking game. Let's go.
He's got 3 better options in front of him. Why would you work to your 4th when the first 3 work?
Turning it over every time or going loss of downs every single time in the first half. Dak sucks.
That's true. That's true. They've not been good in the first half, but at the end of the game, they've got 45 points on the board. So
they should be 0-4, just like the Giants. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Minnesota Vikings at Seattle Seahawks. Minnesota, in most books, it looks like it's +7. It looks like points bet, it's 6.5. Over under is ridiculous. I'm pretty sure it's still the highest of the week. It's 56.5 or 57.5. There's some trend I saw that once it gets to a certain amount, I think it's at 58. If it finishes at 58, it goes over 90% of the time or something. It's something stupid like that. For some reason, I have a feeling this game is going to go under. I think both teams are going to try to run the football here. And I think the Vikings, I'll bring this up, I think their red zone defense is actually pretty good. Yeah, second best in the league. 41% of the time they give up a touchdown in the red zone. While Seattle obviously has Russell Wilson, who is the MVP right now. I just don't think this game is going to hit the over, though. But aside from that, I don't think I really want the spread. I would lean Seattle, but I don't think I'm going to touch that. What do you think, Henry?
Yeah, this is a college football total that we're talking about here at 57, 56.5. And I am inclined to be with you. I don't think it's going to go over. And one of my main reasons for saying that is this is primetime Kirk Cousins we are getting on Sunday night. And as bad as Seattle's defense is, as banged up as they are, Kirk Cousins does not know how to win after when kickoff is after 1 o'clock Eastern time. Seattle is 9-1 against the spread. Their last 10 games that have been played before a bye week. They're 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games hosting the Vikings. If I were to bet on a side here, it would be the Seahawks. Despite sharp money driving this line down, it opened Seahawks at 9. And I got 7s across the board out here in Las Vegas on these odds. So I would be looking Seahawks or nothing here, but I would almost prefer a play, once again, on the under as my best angle on this game.
Yeah, these two teams and these two quarterbacks, they perform opposite in big games, in big situations, in primetime games, the exact opposite, as far opposite as you can get, Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson. I'm taking the Seahawks here. I like the Seahawks a lot this year. I like what what Russell Wilson's doing. Obviously, that's not, a bold statement at all. Kirk Cousins is bad in prime time. And I don't think he even necessarily is going to be, garbage or anything, but I don't think he's going to be nearly as good as Russell Wilson. I think they actually do. I think they actually do run the ball a lot on both sides as well. So I like the under. I would like to I would like to see the total continue to rise and then grab the under. Then if you can get more points, if you're playing the under, great. And hopefully it does continue to move that way. So I do like the under, especially if it moves up another half point anywhere in that range. But I think Seattle -7 in prime time, I think that's a perfectly safe bet. However, we're talking about teasers, and we could complete a 3-team teaser here with if you make Seattle your third teaser. So it'd be the Rams, the Seahawks, and then who was that third team? The Texans, I believe, is the other team that we said that you could tease down. There's a nice little 3-team teaser for you. I'd be more comfortable doing that, but I probably will do a same game parlay with the Seattle -7 and the under. And throw a nice little bet on that, especially if my day goes well tomorrow, which I like this card. I like this card a lot, so hopefully it does. But, when Sunday night comes rolling around, I'll see what that point total is at, and I'll probably do that same game parlay. But, I mean, how are you going to bet against Seattle in this spot? That's my final point. How are you going to bet against Seattle in this spot right now? If you do, again, it's if you do bet on Seattle and Minnesota comes out and impresses and you lose that bet, that's just something that you're going to have to deal with. But if you put your money on the Vikings and Kirk Cousins, expecting a big game out of Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, all this and that, and then the Vikings come out and put up a stinker, you're just going to feel like a moron. So I'm taking the Seahawks here, rolling with the Seahawks.
I'd be curious to know what this line was if it was 2 weeks ago before Minnesota played Tennessee tough and beat Houston outright. I feel like Seattle would be be laying probably double.
At least, I don't know if it already opened at 9. I would think it'd be 10-5 somewhere in there. If things had been going the same way that they did the first few weeks, like that's why I'll take 7 all day.
Yeah, I agree. Seattle is 4-0 against the spread this season too, so that just kind of goes to show the betting market is undervaluing them a little bit if they've covered every single week. And maybe an overvalue on the Vikings in this spot. But yeah, the real narrative here for me is Cousins in prime time. Like, he just cannot shake this.
Henry, I know you look at attendance a lot. Do you know if there's any fans attending in Seattle?
I don't off the top of my head. I can find that for you.
Yeah, please do.
I don't believe there are.
If there's not, I'm for sure not betting Seattle. Just for... I think the Kirk Cousins narrative goes out the window if there's no fans. I think it's a communication thing.
That's true, but also, Kirk Cousins being bad in primetime usually is highlighted too by the fact that in past years his defense has kept him in games, and like the Vikings are in a position to maybe win or at least have a chance at winning, but Kirk Cousins can't. He can't function. He can't do anything about it. And now this year, they don't have that defense. They don't have that defense to, keep them in towards the end of the game and then leave it up to Kirk. I think it might not even be close for most of the night. So Kirk's poor performance might be less highlighted if the game's not that close.
I want to make it
there are no fans.
No fans?
So, yeah, no fans. This would be the third home game for Seattle. Before the season, they announced their first 3 home games would be without fans. So this is that third one, and then they're going to see going forward.
Okay. Yeah, I'm for sure not putting a bet on Minnesota, but I can't imagine I'm going to bet the spread for Seattle, at least where it is right now. I think I could tease it down, but yeah, I'm not taking 6.5 or 7 with no fans there. It just seems too risky to me, considering Jamal Adams is out on top of their bad defense.
I think it's a really nice teaser game, and if you do play that 3-team teaser or add a few of your own or whatever, then you got that Sunday night little nugget to either make or break your whole parlay. That always adds a nice fun element there too when you got that Sunday night to look forward to. So I've got no problem teasing this. I still like the 7, but I'm going to be including it in teasers as well. My teasers have been hot in recent weeks, so I'm teasing like crazy.
Let's do 2 Monday night games here. I don't see any lines for the Tuesday or possible Tuesday night game. So let's double up on Monday and get the hell out of here. Los Angeles Chargers. Lines are all over the board for between 9 and 8-point underdogs against the Saints, it looks like, depending on where you're playing. Brian Bulaga and Trey Turner, so the right side of the Chargers offensive line, are again out. Joey Bosa's hurt, but it looks like he's going to play. Same as Mike Williams. Saints, Janoris Jenkins is still out. Dante Harris, Justin Hardy. Jared Cook, listed as questionable, along with Marcus Davenport, Mark Lattimore, Andrews Pete, Sheldon Rankins, Michael Thomas. It didn't seem like Michael Thomas would play. I don't know why Jared Cook would play, but boy, this is a game I'm not touching. There's just too many injuries, like big name injuries. So, do either of you guys like betting this game?
I'm right with you. I haven't been able to formulate a strong opinion on this one way or the other all week. If, I think my stronger case would be for the Chargers, but I just don't know. There's too many unknowns. Justin Herbert's the starting quarterback of this team now, so I'd be backing a rookie quarterback against a team that's, supposed to win their division and be a contender in the NFC when healthy, which they're not healthy. But I was against the Saints last week and got burned with it with Detroit in a game that I thought the Lions very well could have won outright going into the weekend. So too many unknowns. There's no fans here once again. That plays an element in the Superdome.
Huge element.
I got nothing. I got nothing. And the total at 50, and even 50, I'm seeing maybe a couple 50 and a halves out here, according to .best odds. Maybe swing at an under, but with all the injuries, that's risky too.
Well, if you want to talk about trends and trends that have to end eventually, I've thrown this stat out there, and it's probably known by some people listening as well. But the Saints have not failed to cover a game in October since 2015. I believe it's 15 or 16 games in a row now that they have covered in the month of October. Like I said, talk about a streak that has to come to an end eventually. It seems like this might be the week with all the injuries and everything else that they've got going against them. Justin Herbert has already gone toe-to-toe with phenomenal quarterbacks, Hall of Fame quarterbacks in Tom Brady. And, I don't think it's outrageous to call Patrick Mahomes a Hall of Fame quarterback already. But if you don't want to call him that, he's certainly the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And Justin Herbert has gone toe-to-toe with both of those guys. I think he can hold his own against the 41-year-old Drew Brees, who also is missing his top target. And because is Michael Thomas out again? Did you say?
Questionable. It seemed like he'd be out.
Questionable. Yeah. So why can't Justin Herbert do it again? So maybe, I think I may have talked myself into, if you can get it at 9, maybe I'm leaning Chargers, but would not be surprised at all. I mean, the Saints, they looked like they were in trouble in that first quarter last week against Detroit, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, it's a tie game. Boom, they're up by 14. Like, the Saints have the ability to do that. And the Chargers obviously still have significant injuries on the defensive side. Like you said, Henry, he is a rookie quarterback who wasn't even supposed to be the starter coming into this season. So it's not like he was, primed and ready to be a starter from the get-go like a Joe Burrow or something. So I don't know. I think, you could argue any way, any side of this game. I don't really love it either. I guess I'd take a flyer on the Chargers if you really want an answer, but I'm with you guys. Like, there's many other games I feel good about, and this is not one of them.
Quickly looking up the blitz percentage for the Saints. To me, that's actually a big deal. I forgot to say, by the way, Steelers' top blitz percentage by far in the league. 51% of the time they call blitz. I think Carson Wentz gets his face taken off. Saints blitz.
That's a conversation I had with someone. I'm sorry, Zach, what was it?
No, you're 29% of the time, so it's not significant.
I was just going to say, I was having a conversation with someone this week, and I know hindsight is 20/20, but do you guys still think the Eagles made the right call keeping Wentz versus Nick Foles, because there's a lot of people who are giving Carson Wentz a lot of flack and saying maybe he wasn't all that Philadelphia thought he was cracked up to be there, and that he had that one good year before getting hurt. And the Eagles obviously went on to win the Super Bowl, but he's been playing with so many injuries each of the last 2 seasons. It's a call that I really don't have a strong opinion on. I'm just curious if either of you did.
I mean, his first few years in the league have really aged him. Like, look at how young he looked on his draft day in that first year, and now look at him. I mean, he's had a rough go of it. He missed out on the Super Bowl run. I mean, not a lot has gone right for Carson Wentz. I think he's battled through a lot of, like you said, injuries, different adversities, things like that. But I think he was the right choice. I mean, Nick Foles has bounced around the league and has had starting opportunities for a lot of different teams for a reason. He's good for a period of time, and then he's not. And people are willing to move on from him. Carson Wentz, obviously, is a guy that they were not willing to move on from, especially that early. I think they had too much invested in him at the time. If you're giving them the choice now, in 2020, say, they play out that whole same situation, maybe they make a different choice. But a couple of years ago, it's like you have to stick with Carson Wentz. So I think that they made the right choice all in all.
Yeah, they're just two very different quarterbacks. I would say the strength of Wentz is like just pure talent, like physical strength. For Foles, I think it's all intangibles, mental stuff like that, and it's stuff with the injuries that Carson Wentz had, suffered. His mental game got completely destroyed. Like anything that he ever built up with the Eagles, quarterbacks have that mindset where it's like, I'm the best player here. If anything happened, our team would suck. Carson Wentz went down, and then the backup won the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl MVP from your backup. Yeah, that doesn't make you go like, yeah, shit, they can't win without me.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it was a young guy. Like, he was young at that point. So now it's, I don't know. I think Wentz could turn it around, but any time he gets any sort of confidence, he gets blindsided. Like, with injuries, with his own injuries, with his teammates' injuries, it just seems like Andrew Luck 2.0 to me. Obviously, different situations, but in terms of just getting the shit kicked out of you, I don't like it at all.
I also think, I kind of see him, I see Sam Darnold in the same light where it's like these guys have raw talent. They have the ability if you could hone them in, but I don't think that they're ever going to find their peak success with the franchise that they're with. I think both of them could end up moving on, rejuvenating their career elsewhere. I could definitely see Carson Wentz ending up in a different jersey than a Philadelphia jersey sooner rather than later. Whether it's or whether it's the owners, whether it's the fans, whether it's Carson Wentz not wanting to be there anymore, I'm not quite sure, but I could see him in a different jersey not too far down the line.
I like the Wentz Darnold comparison because I do view Flacco as a Nick Foles-like character where he's going to go on a run now, right, Henry? I think they might win out.
Oh, absolutely.
It's for sure this week. Hammer it. Let's go last game here real quick. Never mind, that's it, right?
This is the rare chance where Adam Gase gets to win a coaching matchup. I'm telling you right now.
The sports book. Is there a game we're missing besides Bills, Titans?
Pats and Broncos is the other Monday night one that we didn't talk about. I don't have lines for it on the board, though, here.
It's not listed for me either.
So that might... Yeah.
Take the Pats, whatever it is.
Probably. Like, I assume this game was pushed off so Bill could start Cam Newton. That's just my gut feeling. Like, Cam's going to be ready to go or something at that point. So, yeah, I guess I would side with the Pats if you can put a bet in.
Is there any word on if it's going to be Rippon or Bortles? Because if it's Blake Bortles, I might actually change my mind a little bit. If it's Blake depending
Bortles,
on what the
I
spread
might go to the stadium. I'll find a way
in. I mean, you would think, it's been, 3 weeks now, and I understand it takes a while to learn a playbook, but it's like, throw him in there, let him learn on the fly. He's not going to be any worse than what you've gotten out of your other two quarterbacks at this point. Like, put him in there.
They might be afraid that he outperforms Drew Lock. That's the only reason I would have put him in. Like, if you want Drew Lock to get his job back, if you want to hand over the reins to Blake Bortles and, let him go, great. But John Elway is going to be, getting a lot of reports like, is Blake Bortles the next John Elway? And people will probably be like, no, he might be better. He might be better than John Elway. Best quarterback the Broncos have ever seen.
Best quarterback the Broncos have had since Tim Tebow, at least.
Don't get me started. I love me some Tim Tebow. Oh my god. I think that's good. If the Tuesday night game gets played, we'll touch on it at a later date. Give us a follow. You can see all our Twitters below us. Thanks for sticking with us through tech difficulties, through stupid takes. Obviously, don't blame Jake. He's related to Mike McCarthy. But that's about it, I think. Any final thoughts, boys?
No, I just can't. I'm looking forward to this Cowboys game so much. You know what? Like, I would say let's make a bet on it, but I don't know. Maybe we can talk off the air, come up with something interesting, and then we could tweet it out from the Flurry account or something. Some punishment bet or something like that, because I love the Cowboys here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyways, check us out at pickcity.com. Buy Zach's NFL package, buy my picks, buy my NFL package, and Henry will be there eventually. And when he does, buy his picks. Pick City. Follow me on Twitter. I appreciate it. I'm gonna head home now and eat the dinner that my mom made for us. So.
Sounds good. Henry, any final thoughts?
No, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I think there's a lot of good opportunities this week. I would like to think that there's going to be a lot of underdogs and a lot of unders. The first few weeks we haven't really seen that. And when in doubt, those are the right sides. And I still believe that when it comes to betting the NFL. So rewatch this and kind of see where we were on some of these. But I like a lot of the games to go those ways. I'm planning to be at the DraftKings Sportsbook finally tomorrow. Got a lot going on. It's crazy trying to be a full-time student taking 19 credits and doing all this at the same time. But I should be there. So I don't know if you're doing anything in the morning, Zach, as far as streaming. But if you are, let me know, and maybe I can hop on live from the
I was gonna say
the aura of the sportsbook.
Yeah, if you could pull off a live stream from the casino, that'd be pretty cool.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Also, check out Monkey Knife Fight, of course.
Yeah.
Tons of great props and games and contests over there. Monkey Knife Fight, promo code Flurry.